If you watched yesterday's video about INDYCAR's big problem, you'd probably be left wondering if something could be done to save the series, or whether it was sliding to inevitable doom. And you wouldn't be the only one. INDYCAR does have a problem, but there is no way the most historic racing championship in the world would disappear without some kind of fight. The management have laid out a plan, with promise of upbeat news in the coming months. Furthermore, Pato O'Ward is trying his hardest to project his thoughts, as he launches a bid to promote change throughout the series. So without further ado, I'm here to greet you with some more positive news, as we set out to uncover what is being done to save the series.
Don't nobody else make me feel like
The off-season was a tough time for INDYCAR. Day after day, different pieces of news were coming out about the future of the sport. Honda's comments were troubling, Chevrolet's silence was deafening, and the delay of the hybrid power unit until midway through 2024 was an interesting decision to say the least. In response, ahead of Content and Media Days on Wednesday and Thursday, INDYCAR and its leaders sat down with the most senior drivers to discuss the future of the sport, setting out a roadmap of where and when the change would occur. Joseph Newgarden, the 2023 Indy 500 champ and two-time series champion, was at the meeting representing Penske. Six-time champion and 2008 Indy 500 winner Scott Dixon was present for Chip Ganassi, as was 2016 Indy 500 champion Alexander Rossi for Arrow McLaren. 2022 Indy 500 winner Marcus Ericsson made an appearance for his new team Andretti, with six-time race winner Graham Rahal being present for Rahal Letterman Lanigan. 5 senior drivers from 5 of the biggest teams, all listening closely to where the sport was going. Pato O'Ward was mentioned in the introduction to this video, and he'll be really important in a couple of minutes, but this part is key too. It is no surprise, therefore, that on Media Day, 4 of the first 5 drivers to face the press were Joseph Newgarden, Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi and Graham Rahal. Each one of them were incredibly tight-lipped about where the sport is going, but promised bouts of good news over the coming months, despite the admittedly tough off-season. Newgarden reassured fans of the great racing that takes place on track, and said, "There is a lot of good things on the horizon, nothing that I'm going to get into specifically. Obviously the hybrid is probably the most exciting component of this year, so we're all still in full prep for that, trying to understand exactly how we're going to tackle that post-Indianapolis." Scott Dixon was incredibly upbeat about what he heard, saying that the health of the series, I think, is probably the best I've seen it in quite some time. I think when you look at car count, the teams, the number of sponsors, and the depth of the sponsors is something to be very proud of. He also said that finding the people or engine leases is kind of the restricting issue at the moment. That's really positive. Obviously, there was going to be a transition with Roger and his group coming in. Having spent a little bit of time with those people in the last couple of days, I think that there are lots of great things in the pipeline, and some big changes that are going to come. Alexander Rossi also reassured fans to trust the process, saying that INDYCAR are not going to give you a play-by-play and a step-by-step as to how they are tackling challenges and preparing for the future and doing things. Ultimately, the people that are running the ship and in charge of the direction are the people to be doing that. The fact that 3 of the most respected drivers are genuinely feeling upbeat about the future reassures me that the series is in fact going in the right direction. As someone who wasn't alive for the vast majority of the Indy split, I cannot possibly consider how difficult it was for fans to see their favourite sport being completely ripped apart by petty politics from CART and the IRL. This current situation is nowhere near as bad as it was then, and if anything, it sounds pretty spoilt to complain about INDYCAR's small growth, considering the enormous slash in popularity that it took in the late 1990s. However, with the problems that were mentioned in yesterday's video, alarm bells were certainly ringing throughout the off-season. 2024 looks to be a time of reconsolidation and evolution, as a new era dawns for INDYCAR with its hybrid power later on this season. So now the moment you've all been waiting for. Pato O'Ward's thoughts. Asked by Indy Star's Nathan Brown what he thought of the situation, INDYCAR's most popular driver took no prisoners by saying he felt the series was selling itself short. In a long and detailed answer, Pato talked about the idea that growth and change are essential for progress, even though they may disrupt existing norms in the sport. Award highlights the importance of adapting to the current times and learning from successful examples in different motorsport categories, seeing what works and what doesn't. The focus is on being open to innovative approaches, even if they do seem aggressive, to achieve significant gains rather than settling for incremental growth. Pato expresses a desire to take a more assertive and forward-thinking approach, to attract new audiences and expand the series. The ultimate challenge is to reach a broader audience and generate interest in order to fuel substantial growth, of which he quite clearly believes the series is capable of. Pato's thoughts were backed up by the godfather of motorsport, Mario Andretti, who quite simply said, "Fully agree with Pato. In my mind, he's absolutely right. IndyCar racing has so much potential, not only in America, but also in countries south of the USA and beyond. Sao Paulo held successful IndyCar races in the early 2010s, only for the FIFA World Cup of 2014 to disrupt the progress made in Brazil. Pato Award is a superstar in Mexico, and a race has already taken place in his home city of Monterrey, back in the early 2000s. Argentina is IndyCar's largest market outside of the USA, and tens of thousands of people packed in grandstands to see Agustin Canapino perform a demonstration run in his home country in late 2022. The 14-time Argentinian touring car champion is a sporting megastar at home. Award remains puzzled by the lack of desire for a race overseas in the near future. He said, "Last I heard, they don't like that, but I don't see why. I really think, I'm not saying go absolutely everywhere like Formula 1 does, but I think we need to stick to our roots and embrace what IndyCar is and what IndyCar has been, and really extract that." He mentioned all three countries I spoke about above, plus a race in Europe as well as Uruguay. Wait, what? Uruguay? Might be fun. I mean, I know a certain number 9. Pato talks like he drives. He doesn't fear failure. He is bold, open and honest. He is encouraging the series to go for it, as he recognises the vast market open to making IndyCar a truly great motorsport once again, and I truly respect him for it. So in conclusion, the future of IndyCar may be uncertain, but it's certainly not all doom and gloom. I think it's important to keep faith in the management team, even if every decision has not been perfect thus far. Roger Penske has been in this game for a very long time. He has seen IndyCar at its very best and at its worst. My hope is that his experience combines with some fresh perspective in order to take full advantage of what the series has to offer. We can all see the potential. It is now time for IndyCar to deliver. And who knows, it may take a few years to do so, but when that day comes, for us loyal fans, it will taste all the sweeter. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any ideas as to what IndyCar can do to sort this problem out. I'd also like to quickly mention that my debut single Treachery is coming out on the 19th of January, which is this Friday. Here's a quick snippet. The subtlety of the things I made. I'll mention it again closer to the time, but I'd appreciate it a bunch if some of you went over and checked it out. I've uploaded 3 days in a row since coming back to YouTube, and I must say I don't think I've enjoyed it this much in a very long time. So you guys can expect more frequent uploads. So also drop a comment down below if you have any ideas for video topics. I believe I've got one on Colton Herta planned. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that, and I will see you all in the next video. But until then, I've been DylanJamesGP. Take care and have a good week.
Don't know